Hey guys, happy Monday. So, this week we are going to be focusing primarily on economic challenges. Okay, so last week we wrapped up GDP, right? This week we'll dive into unemployment, minimum wage, inflation, etc. So, just a little heads up, next week you guys are going to be having a quiz on GDP and economic challenges. So, make sure that you are um, taking good notes in order to understand this content, coming to me if you have any questions, etc. Um, just a little heads up about what this week is going to look like. Today, you'll listen to just this brief little audio I'm leaving you, and then you have an assignment. And then Wednesday will be another just brief, like 15-minute audio recording, and then an assignment as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, when we talk about economic challenges, we start with unemployment. So today, that's what the focus is going to be on, is unemployment. Unemployment is a big predictor or determinant of how well our economy is doing. Okay. When unemployment is high, production is slowed down. So there aren't as many goods and services being produced. There aren't as many purchases, right? Because people don't have as much money. If you're unemployed, then you don't have a steady stream of income, meaning you're not going to purchase as much. But a really big part of unemployment is the morale. So the morale in this case, we're talking about unemployment in the United States. So morale is down tremendously when unemployment is up. People are significantly less happy when they wake up in the morning and don't have a place to go. They don't have work to do. Right? It might seem fun for a day to not have a job, right? But people are generally not unemployed by choice. We all want to make a living. We all want to be able to support ourselves, our families, etc. So morale is down when unemployment is high. There's a correlation with higher crime rates, with suicide rates, with depression, with domestic abuse, child abuse. It's really sad. There are a lot of negative repercussions when unemployment is high. So it's not just the impact or the toll that it takes on our economy, but it's the impact it has on our citizens' well-being as well. So, in terms of unemployment, there are four different kinds. Three of these types of unemployment are natural. One is not. So we'll go into the three natural kinds of unemployment first. Okay, the first one is called fractional unemployment. So fractional unemployment, these are people who are unemployed because they choose to be. What I mean by this is not that they're just choosing to sit back and do nothing, but they're taking time off to look for work. Okay. They know that there are other jobs available to them, and so they're going to quit and look for another job. These people are fractionally unemployed. So maybe you are tired of living in the Midwest and you want a more big city lifestyle, so you choose to uproot yourself and move to California or New York. So you're moving to another state, you quit your job, and you're going to look for a job in another state where a job will be available to you. Or maybe you're choosing to change your career, you're changing your career path. Or maybe you're sick of working at Starbucks, so you want to work at Copa Vida because they have better hours. You know a job's available to you at Copa. So you are going to be fractionally unemployed in that interim period when you're choosing to look for a job. So I say that this is a natural kind of unemployment because this is not a sign of poor economic health, okay? Because these people are choosing to be unemployed because they know that they have the opportunity to get a job elsewhere and they will soon be getting that job. So that's the first type, is fractional. The second type of unemployment is called seasonal unemployment. Just like the name entails, these are people who are unemployed because they only work during a specific season. Some common examples of this are lifeguards or ski instructors, right? When it's summertime, we don't need ski instructors, we don't need snowboard instructors. There's no use for them. So maybe they're going to become poolside servers instead. So this again is not reflective of the economy. This is just purely reflective of the literal season, which is why it's called seasonal unemployment. It has much more to do with weather than it does our economic health. Um, there tend to be more people who are seasonally employed during the summertime. School is a really, really big factor in this. A lot of our citizens are in school during the fall, winter, spring months, but then once school's over for the summer, they're going to get summer jobs, seasonal temporary jobs. So that's the second type. We've covered fractional unemployment and seasonal unemployment. This next type is called structural unemployment. Structural unemployment is when you have skills in something, but there's no need for that skill anymore. So you're qualified to do a particular job, but that job is no longer needed. This is happening because of technology and technological improvements. Um, if you think of an example, switchboard operators, right? Those were a thing. A lot of women had jobs as switchboard operators. They would make connections for long distance phone calls, right? Obviously, that job ended up being faded out because there was no need for them anymore. Another example, so coding, right? Coding jobs. Right now, there's a big need for coding jobs. So a lot of people are getting degrees or getting education so that they can be able to code. However, they're predicting that eventually these coding jobs will eventually be replaced by computers. So they're not going to need people to code anymore. So right now, yes. Eventually, however, computers will take over that job, and so that job will no longer be needed. So structural unemployment is when there is no longer a need for your skill set. So just kind of like a side note here, guys, make sure that when you're looking into different degrees, different majors, different schools, make sure you're choosing to invest in an education that's going to provide a job for you in the long term. Because you don't want to get a degree and then be out of luck within a couple years of graduating. So those are the first three types of natural kind of unemployment. This last type of unemployment that we're going to cover is called cyclical unemployment. Cyclical unemployment, this is the sort of bad type of unemployment. It's the one that's an indicator that our economy is not in a stable place. Okay, so when cyclical unemployment is high, then our economy is not doing well. So if the economy is good, there's going to be a low unemployment rate. But if the economy is bad, then there's going to be a high cyclical unemployment rate. This, guys, is probably going to be what's going to happen at the end of our pandemic because there are not going to be enough jobs for the people who want to work. Okay, so that's cyclical unemployment. You have a degree, you want a job, but you're unable to get one because of the current state of the economy. So right now, a lot of people are being furloughed, meaning they're kind of temporarily being let go of their jobs. They can still collect unemployment, and technically their job might be waiting for them, but because of the poor shape that our economy is in, they may not be able to get that job back. And so they will then fall into cyclical unemployment. Unemployment in the US, they try to keep between about 3 and 5%. Anything above that is disastrous. Anything above that is dangerous. And they're actually projecting that unemployment could get as high as 15% when all of this sort of dies down. I'm hoping that you guys are able to kind of see the relevance in terms of the content that we're covering now with what our current economy looks like. This obviously is a horrible, horrible, horrible experience, but I'm hoping that this is at least a little bit more relevant for you guys because you're getting to see what this looks like in action. Um, okay, so that's unemployment, and the four types. So again, fractional, seasonal, and structural, all of which are natural, and then cyclical unemployment, and that's unfortunately what's probably going to be high come the end of this pandemic. So then we've also got underemployment. Underemployment and unemployment are not the same. Okay, that's a separate issue. Underemployment is when people have jobs where their skills are not being maximized. So these are when people are overqualified for their job. So maybe somebody has a college degree, they got their bachelor's in business and marketing, whatever it was. And then they're unable to find a job that they're qualified for. So they end up flipping burgers at McDonald's, or they end up as a barista at a coffee shop, even though their skill set is not being maximized because they're overqualified for that. It Sometimes when employers are looking at your resume and they see that you're overqualified, they're not going to want to hire you. Yeah, you might have all of the skill sets that it takes to be a barista, and then some, but they know that you're not going to stick around for a while because you're overqualified. So they're not going to waste their time, energy, money investing in you if you're overqualified for this job and you're just going to leave once you get one that matches your skill set better. For that reason, it's kind of hard sometimes for college students to find jobs, especially, let's say, college seniors, right? They know that you're going to be graduating and leaving soon, so they're not going to want to pour a tremendous amount of money into the hiring process and the training process if they know that you're going to be finding another job shortly thereafter. So that's underemployment, which is not to be confused with unemployment. Um, I want to touch really fast on unemployment rates and low unemployment. So, generally speaking, right, we know that low unemployment is a good thing for the most part. We try and keep it, like I mentioned earlier, between 3 and 5%. And you might be saying, well, why 3 and 5%? Why not zero? Why don't we want no unemployment? Why shouldn't every single person be employed? Obviously, yes, that would be ideal. That would be amazing. But it's heartbreaking that there are people who are unemployed. Um, However, from an economic standpoint, what economists will say is that in order to keep inflation in check, we need to have an unemployment rate of about 3 to 5%. I'm going to explain why this is. So let's say that you're a baseball pitcher. You're a really great baseball pitcher. You've got an amazing record. So you know that all teams are going to want you, right? All teams are going to hire you, are going to want to hire you because the unemployment rate is low, because every other pitcher that's outstanding, amazing, has a great record, has already been hired. So you're the best option. Okay, what happens when you're the best option? That means that you can ask for any salary that you want because you know they have to hire you. If they want a good pitcher, they have to hire you. So you have the power to demand more money, to demand a higher salary. You could essentially bankrupt the team. It's happened before in sports by asking for so much money. So as wages increase, as someone's salary increases, then that's going to lead to price increases, which is going to lead to inflation. So let's take another example. Let's say unemployment is really low. Let's say it's at 1%, so not very many people are unemployed. That means that you can demand higher pay for the work you're doing because they know if you leave, they're screwed. They need you there, right? So as wages increase, they're going to have to increase their wages because they are paying you more now. Then what happens to the products that they're producing? They have to charge more for those products so that they can pay you more. As prices increase of those products, then we get into inflation, which is a dangerous territory. Okay, so that's why, from an economic standpoint, in order for a capitalist economy to run efficiently, unfortunately, there does need to be a cushion of unemployment. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop for this first part of economic challenges that cover unemployment. Go ahead and take a look at the assignment that I have posted for you guys and ask me if you have any questions. All right,